Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that I'm in the middle of I'm getting close to the end of my deep dive into the Lenormand system, the system that was originated in Germany under the name of the Game of Hope, when translated into English. My German pronunciation is not excellent, so I will not subject you to that. But then when it got transferred, when it was exported to France, they added the name of Madame Lenormand to the deck, and it took off. It became very popular internationally. Fairly quickly. There was a deck created in the United States about 30 or 40 years after the Lenormand decks started to get popular in France. The first decks in the United States published there, to my knowledge, were sold under the name of the Madame Marot deck, because there was, just like in France, a very popular psychic seer cartomancer in France called Madame Lenormand. There was a woman in the United States called Madame Marot, and they sold basically the same deck under her name in the United States for a while. But we all know that Lenormand was the name that stuck, and it sold everywhere, including here in Korea. Just saying. So it's a popular system. Many people use it. Many people read it. And I have gotten a lot out of reading this style of cards, and I hope that you have gotten something out of watching me stumble through my exploration of this deck. Now, frankly, I did study this deck earlier before doing this deep dive. So the beginning of this year-long deep dive was not my first taste of Lenormand, but this has really been a year of focusing attention for an extended period of time on this system, and I found it fruitful, and I hope it's been fruitful for you too. And if it has been fruitful for you, I want to thank you for doing those things that you do, for hitting the thumbs up button, for subscribing. Those things that you do help other people find us. You know that, right? And so thank you for helping us find each other. And if you comment in the comment section, that does the same thing. And I also love reading your comments. I find that a blessing. So thank you for doing those things that you do. You're wonderful. Now, what are we going to do? Friends, I've got a new spread. I've got a new deck because the new lunar month has already come. And so what I will do is I will show you the spread, and then we'll talk about the deck that I'm using, only one deck, and I'll give you a brief outline of what the spread is, and then we'll dive into reading that spread in the diverse ways that we will read this spread. This is a little bit of a monster. It's not the Grand Tableau. I am not going to do a Grand Tableau during my deep dive. I'm sorry. Logistics are just too much for me. So we are doing a pretty huge, chunky spread, though. Let me show it to you, and I hope you can see the cards. Well, here it is. Friends, what do you think of the spread? What do you think of the deck? Now, I gotta say, I purchased this deck. What deck? Oh, yes, the deck I'm using is the Lenormand de la Luna. Yeah, the Lenormand de la Luna, which is a creation by Patrick Valenza. And I got it because it is a creation by Patrick Valenza. And I'm happy to have it, and I'm excited, I'm interested in using it. However, let me say a couple of things once and only once that I do not like about the deck. One is it's a little bit large for a Grand Tableau for me. If you ask me, it's a little bit big. There are bigger Lenormand decks out there. The Ciro Marchetti, you'll notice I do not have the Ciro Marchetti Lenormand deck because I find it to be way too big for use practically when reading Lenormand. Just my thing. So it's a little bit big. It's not huge, again, but it's big. The other thing I don't particularly like about this deck is it does not have the playing card inserts, nor does it have any of the playing card information on the cards. That was a little bit disappointing. And frankly, I bought the deck. I wasn't able to see all of the images when I bought the deck. I bought the deck because I love Patrick Valenza's work on all of his other decks. And so I thought, I will love this. And I love the artwork. I find the artwork to be excellent. I find it to be clear. There is no confusing what we're seeing in the cards, at least for me. Now, I can see that the book is a book. I can see that the letter is a letter, and they're not confusing. There is one... yes, I remember. No, I don't remember the name, though. It might be actually Pixie's Astounding Lenormand, where the person, the letter card, there's a woman holding the letter, and the woman is very large, and the letter is very small, and it looks like it might be the woman card. You know what I mean? So there's no confusion in this deck for any of that, at least for me. So I like that, the clarity of the image. I do really, really, really wish that there were playing card, if not inserts, at least indications on the cards. Just saying. So, love the deck. The cardstock. Cardstock is fabulous. All of Patrick Valenza's decks have wonderful cardstock for me. And the backs, it's really fun. The backs of this deck match perfectly the Triunfi de la Luna, which is his reimagining of the Terre de Marseille. Yeah, and I love that deck. And actually, I'm going to use it this week. But the backs of these Lenormand decks and the backs of that Terre de Marseille deck are exactly the same, which I think is so cool. Again, a little too big. I wish there were playing cards. That's the only thing. Okay, so you saw there were a mess of cards on the screen, right? How many cards? There are, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, 13 cards. I call this my star spread. I call this a star spread. I did not make the spread. This is not my creation. I got this spread from Kelly Fitzpatrick at Truth in Story, and I really have to say that she is the one who helped me to really understand Lenormand. I'd looked at it before, I'd considered it before, but listening to her talk about Lenormand really helped it make sense to me. Yeah? And so, she was the beginning of my journey with Lenormand, and this is a spread that I learned from her. And she called it the star spread. Other people have called it other things. Some people call it the Council of 13. Some people call it other things. For me, this is the star spread because it looks like a star to me. That's what I see. And we read this spread in several different ways. The central card is the significator. I let the deck select the significator for me. I did not pull it out initially. Now, when we do a picture box spread or a box spread or what I call a 9-card spread, we will shuffle the significator into the deck and then choose the 4 cards before it and the 4 cards after it, right? And there are this many cards on the table. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to pull out the significator, we're going to slap it on the center of the table, and then we're going to shuffle the rest of the deck, and we're going to lay out the rest of the cards around it. That make sense? I did not do that. I let the deck show me the entire spread. So the first card I pulled out, that was the significator, and then I pulled out the rest of the cards. And the cards go from top to bottom, 1, 2, and then beneath the significator, 3, 4. And then from left to right, 5, 6, and then the significator 7, 8. And then we go from the upper left-hand corner, 9, and then diagonally 10, and then we go over to the bottom left-hand corner, So, okay, 11, 12, and then that significator is the first card, which totals up to 13, right? So that's how I lay out the spread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes? And the line that runs down the center is what tells us what's on our mind and what's below. Yeah, our thoughts and beliefs, and then below it's what we're standing on, the basis of this situation. Yeah, then we go from the left to right. That crossbar gives us the past, and then guess what? On the other side of the significator, we have 2 cards for the future. Yes, and then we have those diagonals, right? What I said was 9 and 10, those are the past influences and where they are leading. And then 11 and 12, it's where our unconscious beliefs and where those are leading. So there's a lot of trajectory in this spread, which is balanced by our present moment of thoughts and what we're standing on. Does that make sense? So that's the way we're going to read this spread. And then we're going to look at maybe, we could do knighting in this spread. We could do, there is a 9 card right there in the center of this thing, which we could read as a 9 card spread, but we're not going to go there. You can also read the 4 cards around the significator separately. So there are the 3 cards on the top, the 4 cards on the top, the 4 cards on the bottom, the 4 cards on the right, 4 cards on the left, to get some support for your ideas of the spread. We might do that, we might not. Let's see how this goes. So friends, let me show you the spread again. I'm going to try recording this in a little bit of a different way. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so friends, here's the spread again, and we're going to start reading it. Are you all ready? Here we go. Friends, just so that we can confirm with each other what you just saw, I'm going to read off the names of the cards from top to bottom, left to right. That's not the way we read the spread, but just let's check what you saw. Yes, from the very top in the center, there was the tower. And then below that, left to right, the book, the letter, and the coffin. Then below that, from left to right, was the garden, the bear, the child, the sun, and the clover. And then below that, the 3 cards were the cross, the key, the heart, and then the very bottom was the bouquet, right? Now, I like to get a general sense of the overall atmosphere of a spread, right? And so we've got a lot of neutral cards on the table, yeah? The tower is neutral, yeah? The book is neutral negative. The letter is neutral, the coffin is neutral negative, so we've got 2 neutral negatives up on the top, right? The garden and the bear are neutral. The child is neutral positive, which knocks off one of the neutral negatives. So we've got 1 neutral negative. We've got the clover, which is positive, and that overweigh that. Okay, so we've got 1 neutral negative. The clover is positive. The sun is triple positive. Yeah, for me, that is like the knockout punch of positivity for the Lenormand spread. And the cross is negative, which cancels out the clover, right? The key is positive, the heart is positive, and the bouquet is positive. So we've got 1 neutral negative card, which is overwhelmingly counteracted by a triple positive sun, a positive heart, a positive key, and a positive bouquet. So we've got a positive spread here. I think a very positive spread. And the central card for this spread is, now I'm not going to hold the card up with my hands. I'm going to try and put an insert here for you. Now the central card was the child. I'm going to pick it up for me because I want to look at the card a little bit more carefully. Oh, and this is what the backs of the cards look like. Exactly like my Triunfi della Luna. I think that's so cool. Anyways, child. I love you see the child card. Where will I put it? I'll probably put it up here. The child card, this is a phenomenal child. Creepy beyond creepy, but quirky, cute, creepy, if you ask me. And what is a child? It's something new, right? It's a new human being. It will grow slowly. It has a potential for being playful, joyful, but also cranky, right? So it's positive, neutral. And it's the card for new beginnings, new starts, some things that are small but will grow and develop over time. Maybe a little bit, quicker growing than a tree, maybe than the tree card, because the tree also starts small and grows big. But the child might grow a little bit more quickly. It could be a real child that we're talking about here, but I don't think we all have children. I know I do not. But it could also be childish or childlike behavior. And there's a distinction between those two, right? Our naivete and our innocence. It could also be a freshman, a beginner at a job, somebody new to your group. Those kinds of new people are also indicated here. But what I see is new beginnings. The question I ask every week is, how can we live our lives more intentionally in the coming week? And recognizing that every day is a new beginning, I think is helpful for us to, especially now, especially in these days. But I think that's what this spread is pointing towards. And we'll see if that plays out. And that might be the title of this video, is Every Day is a New Beginning, right? Because that is the significator. That's where we're starting. And so we're going to look at the two cards above, which is what are we thinking about? And the Tower. The Tower card. The Tower is something that's high up, right? We build towers so that we can do two things. One, so that we can see far away to perhaps protect our environment, protect our space. For example, we build towers in castles so that the watch people can see far away and see if there are enemies coming to attack us, right? We also use towers to imprison people, to remove people from society. And also think of Rapunzel, right? The witch put Rapunzel up in a tower so that she would not be able to interact with other people, and other people would not be able to interact with her either. That's a seclusion thing. But there are other ideas, right? We have the ivory tower of institutions and of learning. All of those things are tower related. So the tower it could be solitude. It could be taking a step back, removing ourselves from society. It could be an institution. Yeah, it could be a company, a college, a university, a library if you are a librarian. It could be your institution or the institution that you participate in, whether as an employee or a volunteer or even a patron of that institution. There's also that idea of being high and unavailable. Almost unavailable. Think Rapunzel again. Yeah, eventually Rapunzel got out of that tower, but almost unattainable, right? So, and I love this tower card. I love the eye at the top, which gives us that idea of the tower is looking out into the distance. And I think this being the card for thought, I think that's what we're starting this idea as, in order to have this new beginning, we don't want to be distracted by the hustle and bustle, by the craziness of people around us. We want to perhaps remove ourselves so we get a clearer vision. Yeah? And the card right beneath it is the letter card. And this bloody letter, and I'm not using that in the sense of the British sense of this bloody letter, but rather the actual blood that's down there at the bottom edge of the letter, right? It's a bit gruesome. Could be ketchup, but it does look a bit gruesome. I love that the writing on the letter is so foreign to us, yes? They're somewhat runic. I mean, not runes like the Northern European Futhark runes, but rather there's a runic kind of feel to this. No, they're not hieroglyphic. They're runic to me. But lovely writing of this letter. And what is a letter? It's communication generally from one person to another. There are other kinds of letters, but yes, I would say that this is generally written communication from one person to another. It could also be written documents. It could be contracts. It could be messages that take longer to get to us than the writer. But it could also be text messages, yes? But if we think of the tower as being that removing ourselves to get clearer, broader, farther vision, I think that this letter is asking us to write it down. Write what we see. Write what we think about. To write what we are envisioning for ourselves. Does that make sense? So, with this is all about getting our new perspective, our new beginning, this every day is new. And to be able to recognize and to see and to clarify what that newness is, writing it down will be helpful for us. And that's something we might want to think about. And what's in our foundation? We start off with a foundation of it being, yes, this is what we want to do. And I love this skeleton. You notice that there's a skull in this skeleton key. That's just so clever. I love that. But we've got this huge key. And the key is what? It opens things up. It unlocks things and also locks things down. It helps us keep things safe. The key is the yes card in the Lenormand. Yeah? It's the answer yes to a question. So this is a card of success. This is a card of certainty, of having answers. Now your answer follows, and it's like an exclamation point to a Lenormand spread. Yeah? Now, the way I read this card directionally is cards to the left would be things that are locked in, and the cards to the right are things that are, I'm sorry, for you it's things to the left are locked in, and the cards to the right, that's what's opened up and revealed, unlocked. Which is good because the card, well, we'll get to that. We might get to that later. So this is, yes, what's the foundation we're standing on is our success to this point, and also, yes, the newness, the childlike innocence and the childlike naivete is the best way for us to be living in this week. And that leads us to the bouquet, right? The bouquet. Love this. I love this furry, furry hand. It's like Beauty and the Beast, yeah? If Beast were a red, hairy monster, handing off a bouquet of flowers with eyes to his beauty, that's what I see in this card. Do you see what I'm seeing? But we also have octopus tentacles here. And a couple of the flowers, few of the flowers look like they are, in Korean we call it heparagi. It's jellyfish. They look like jellyfish to me too. So just a kooky card, right? But what is a bouquet? It's something we give to other people. And we give it to other people in order to say thank you, to congratulate them, to make them feel happy. We give them to mothers on Mother's Day, for example, to brighten their day. There's research saying that to say that receiving flowers, when we receive flowers, almost all people smile. It's like an unconscious reaction to receiving and seeing flowers is a smile. And I don't know how globally they did their research. It might have just been in what we would call Western countries, for example, Europe and the Northern American countries. It might not have been, I don't know. But there's this idea of that happiness that flowers bring, right? So this is a card of what? Good fortune and happiness. It's a card of pleasure. Now, this gift of flowers can sometimes come with a little bit of a hook, right? I give you these flowers as a way to get entrée, to get entrance into your space, to get entrance into your heart, to get an invitation from you, to get a recognition from you. There's the idea of creativity and beauty to the bouquet because the flowers are arranged. Generally, we don't just grab flowers at random and tie them together, right? We'll order them. We'll put them in some kind of attractive arrangement. So there's a beauty and creativity to the flowers, to the bouquet as well. We could also be the recipients, right? We could be the giver. We could also be the recipients of an invitation, which could be any kind of invitation, an invitation to an interview, an invitation to hang out with your friends, to go to a party, or to go to a movie. Any kind of invitation is also indicated, but what I see here is good fortune. Yeah? Our significator of the childlike approach to every day being a new day. Yes to that with the key. And then below that, yes, that brings good fortune. It brings beauty. It brings creativity to our lives. And it also might bring some invitations to expand our social networks and circles. Yes? It's not the social networking card, that's in the garden card, but it could be that in getting new people into our lives and invitations from new people. So we've got a very, I think, positive central axis to the spread around that child. And let's look at what has brought us here from the past. We start off with the garden card. And what is the garden card? It's our social community. The garden was traditionally the place where people would gather to interact with other people. Now, they could gather in salons, in people's homes, the wealthy could. But the garden was an outdoor, more public space for people to gather, to network, to meet each other, a more communal enterprise than a party inside of somebody's home. Yes? At the time of the creation of this deck. So it's our society. It could be society at large, or our society, our peeps, our tribes, if you will. It could be our community. It could be our company even. Yeah, there's not necessarily always that idea of social networking for pleasure and fun, but also social networking for business and financial purposes or other networking purposes other than social fun, right? We have the idea of working with other people as well. But I think we're looking at our interactions with other people generally. And it could be at work, it could be with our people, our friends and family, it could be with a broader society. And that has given us what? It has given us the bear. Yes, the bear. The bear is what? The bear is a strong animal. It's the strongest animal in the deck, right? The bear is protective. We think of the mama bear, right, who protects her cubs. The bear is independent. The bear is not a follower. The bear is a high creature on the pecking order of the predator and prey order, right? The bear does not have many, if any, predators to it. It's pretty high on the food chain. That's the word I was looking for, the food chain. Now, bears are also herbivores. Yeah, the bears don't run out and try to attack people. They get their food from fish. They get their food from plants. They get their food from many sources. Yeah, a lion is also a top tier animal on the food chain, but it will go out and will hunt other mammals and other large creatures. A bear doesn't do that so much, right? So who is the bear? The bear is a strong, supportive person. The bear could be a cuddle bear. It could be a supervisor. Yeah, it could be a supervisor at work. A boss person, a boss man, a boss lady. But it can also be our calm inner strength. It could be a matriarch. It could be a mother. But I think our past has led us down a path of gaining our personal strength. Have you noticed that for yourself? And our interactions with other people have helped us grow and become more powerful. And it's with that power that we're able to step into trusting that we can approach every moment of every day as a fresh, new creation. If we're feeling weak, if we're feeling depressed, if we're feeling insecure, we're not going to be able to open ourselves to the power of intention and receive every moment of every day as a new experience, right? We're going to be protecting ourselves if we're feeling insecure or unstable or unworthy or powerless or depressed. We're not going to be able to open ourselves. We're going to be locked in for self-preservation and self-protection. It requires a strength of person to be able to open to the newness of every moment, right? And then we move into what is coming. And what is coming is pretty dang cool, right? We've got this sun card. Oh, I didn't mention, well, you saw the bear and you saw the garden card. You saw those flowers with faces. You saw the rain but the rain is good. And we don't see any cloud cards here. So we don't read Lenormand that way, I'm sorry. Because there's a cloud on this garden card, it doesn't mean that this garden card is different from the garden card on another deck where it's only sunny. right? We read all garden cards as garden cards. We saw those flowers talking to each other, right? We saw that bear, very powerful bear with a crown holding that scepter of a tree branch. And look, just sitting there in his, her, their power. The sun card, we got a sun, what looks like Egypt, the Egyptian pyramids with palm trees, right? The sun doesn't look all that happy. But just because the sun in this card does not look all that happy doesn't mean I'm not going to read it as the triple positive card that I see as the sun in Lenormand. Right? The sun is what? It's that which shines on all of us and gives life to this planet. It's what gives energy to the planet and warmth. It brings happiness. It brings success and growth. Right? It's the warmth of light. It's the beautiful things in life, revealing themselves in the light and growing in the light. Like those palm trees that you see in the sun card. And I love this card because even though the face looks a little bit unhappy, the rays are there, and we see those drops of sunlight spraying out all over the world. And so our acceptance of everything as new brings success and happiness and growth for us. And the next card, which is the clover card, yeah? Now this clover is dripping blood, right? The clover card has a little drop, a fairly large drop of blood coming out of it, true. But there's also the rainbow behind it, yes? There's that eye, which echoes the eye in the tower, but we don't read Lenormand like we read Tarot. And so just because this clover has an eye on it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily relate to the eye on the tower or an eye on the bouquet, right? It's just the clover card. Beautiful clover card. But that rainbow reminds us of what? It reminds us of luck. Small luck. This is not the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but this is a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of green, right? But it's also green that replenishes itself. Clover, you cut it down, it will grow back, right? It doesn't last for a long time. It will die back. But when it's with its friends and its family and its relatives and it is covering whole fields, that's a lot of green. But we're only looking at one little clover thing, which is one clover plant, which is weak. It's small, it doesn't last, but it is good. It is lucky. It's hope, it's optimism. It's also synchronicities, and it can be money. So our success from the sun and our happiness from the sun and that growth will increase our luck and increase the synchronicities that are available to us that we can recognize. There are synchronicities around us all the time. It's just we're not open and ready to receive them. Here, if we take every moment as new with the child, every day a new day, every day a new experience, a fresh start, every moment, that will open us up to seeing the synchronicities which are there for us all the time. Does that make sense? So now we got these corner cards, right? So what's going on in our past influences? The first major past influence we had was the book card, which is interesting because the book card was right next to the letter card. I did not lay, you noticed, I hope you know, that I laid the cards out in the numbers that I read off. I laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. 9, 10, I'm sorry, for you it's 9, 10, 11, anyways. You know what I mean, yes? So this lovely book card. The book is open. We see one side, the closed side of the book is off of the spread. which is good, because if we're reading the book directionally, that is the side of things that would be not revealed. The open side of the book is the side where things are going to be revealed or are revealed. The book is what? It's where the letter is communication from one person to another. The book is a communication from one person or one small group to many other people, right? It's also the place where, remember that at the time of the creation of the Lenormand, literacy rates were not very high. Higher than perhaps in what we would call the medieval period. Some people would call the Dark Ages, but I would not. The medieval period. But still not as high as today, where almost everybody now on the planet has a smartphone and they are all reading with their smartphones, right? If you're going to use a smartphone, you're going to have to know how to read. And smartphones have spread all over this globe. So we know that now there's a very high, much higher literacy rate. Especially much higher than it was at the time of the creation of the Game of Hope and then Lenormand. So there's the idea of secrets there, right? Information that's not available to everybody. So what is the book? The book is secrets, information that is not shown yet or will be shown soon. Yeah. Because most of the time what is hidden will eventually be revealed. And so there's that open side of the book being the information that will be revealed sometime soon. But it's also knowledge, it's also study, it's learning. So what I see is it could be things that were secret being revealed or things that we have studied, which they have led to the heart. And what is the heart? The heart is the center of our emotions in Western thought. Not all over the world, not in Eastern thought, for example. In the Eastern thought, the heart is the center of mind. But for us, generally, at the time of the creation of the Lenormand deck, this is the seat of emotions, it's the seat of spirituality, it's the seat of the heart of Jesus, the Immaculate Heart of Mary. All of these things are centered around the idea of the heart at the time of this deck. So there's the idea of love, joy, and passion and sorrow are all woven into this card. But we're reading the card as a positive card. So passions, love, joy, doing things that we love to do. It's a positive yes card too. So what are we talking about? That the secrets are the secrets that have been in the past have opened to reveal our love, our joy. Or the study that we have done has opened up our love and our joy and, yes, a positive, successful movement towards the future. Yes? Now let's look at what's been happening below the surface. Below the surface, we have the cross card. And you'll notice this cross card is a little bit of a cross in glory, right? There's the crown above it, there's the light shining behind it. This is more of a spiritual cross than generally crosses are read in other decks. What is a cross? For the Christian context in which this deck was created, the cross is the symbol of suffering to death. It's the cross of burden, right? Jesus had to carry the cross through Jerusalem to the place where he was killed. There's also the spiritual meaning of the cross, right? We all have our cross to bear, our burden. So that's what the card is. It's our burdens, but also our spiritual lives, also our fate and our destiny. I think the unconscious thing leading up to the present time of this awakening of the child, no, that might be a better awakening of the child. I don't know. Okay, so awakening of the child, or every day a new day. One of those two will be the title. You know better than I do at this point. So we've been feeling this burden in our unconscious space. Yeah, the burdens, the things that are feeling fated in a not positive way, leading up to the coffin card. I love the skull on this coffin. It's wonderful. I would prefer the coffin to have been going left to right, as in most other decks, because I read the head as the thing that will be finished quickly, and the foot side being that which will taper off. I guess we could read it that way, top bottom, but I prefer reading left right. I'm just saying, I prefer left right facing cross. Coffin. But this coffin is beautiful. I love it. I love the blood rain. I love that the flowers themselves are wilted over, because the coffin is what? It's endings. It's the finish. It's losses. It could be renewal, but it's losses. It's also mourning. It's that feeling of emptiness, because that which was alive is no longer. Because that's where we put the dead bodies, right? And then we put them in the ground so that they are removed from us. So there's that idea of things being removed from us, from dying from our lives. It could also be stagnation, but I don't see that being the case here. It could be an actual box. Yeah, if we're looking for something and the coffin card comes out, it might be in a box somewhere, right? Things can be boxed up by the coffin, but I don't think that's what we're seeing here. What I'm seeing here is, as we move into this new childlike not point of view, not atmosphere, but this new childlike perspective, this ability to see the new in every moment of every day. Though that unconscious, below the surface burden feeling ends with the coffin. But we're moving to the ending of that. So this coffin card is actually a beneficial thing, because it's the ending of that burden. Does that make sense? So this is a wonderful, wonderful spread, I think. Now let me show you the spread once more. And I'd like to try quickly reading those cards that I was talking about. The 4 on top, the 4 on the bottom, the 4 on the right, and the 4 on the left. Quickly, let's see what that leads us to. Are you ready to do that? Let me show you the spread once more, and let's read. Here it is. Friends, let's look at the 4 cards at the top, right? Which were the Tower, the Book, the Letter, and the Coffin. So what does it mean? So that which is above us, the Tower, right? That removal from the hustle and bustle, the removal from the cacophony of the world around us, in order for us to get that higher perspective, to see farther, to see more clearly, is wonderful. But what's below that? Yeah, it reveals to us. Yeah, we have the book here opening up right? It reveals with communication, in writing, an ending. Yes? What does that mean? I think it means that, yes, going up, getting that high perspective in the course of this, at this moment, while it is very beneficial and it helps us get that, it helps us to recover our ability to approach every moment as a new creation. There's a danger, there's a danger that while that ends the burden of the past, if it continues, if we stay separated too long, it's just going to it will lead to endings, right? We need to come back from the tower into interaction with other people, because if we remain isolated, everything will start ending. Does that make sense to you? That's what that coffin is there to remind us that, yes, that stepping away, stepping back, getting that perspective is good, but if we stay there, things will end. We won't be able to get to these good things that we're seeing as the spread moves into the future. And in the past, well, behind us, you saw those 4 cards, right? We've got the book, the bear, and the cross, and the flowers, right? The book, the bear, the cross, the flowers, which means what? Well, our study has given us strength but a burden. Now, the study with the book, the learning with the book, has improved our strength. But there's also has led to a burden. Now, that could be actually we might have found our destiny, our path forward, where our purpose, so I'm put on the brake, let's hit the brakes and backpedal a little bit. And remember, we read these cards differently depending on the cards that they're in relationship to. So, the learning of the book has given us our strength and our spiritual foundation. Yeah, the top of the cross pushes things up. The top of the cross pushes things up and elevates them. So, has given us spiritual strength, with the bearers being strength, the cross being spiritual. Our spiritual strength has come from our study. And that has increased our beauty and maybe our ability to be in social interaction with other people. With the garden, our ability to network has improved because of our growth in strength, our spiritual strength. Our community may be expanding because of that growth in spiritual strength, but also that growth in strength may have come from our interactions with other people as well. So our interactions with other people and our studying have increased our strength. Yes, that's what I see. And then below the surface, what do we see? We've got the cross, the key, the heart, and the bouquet. And things that are to the right of the cross are enhanced and they're strengthened. Yes? So I think we're going to keep with that spirituality of the cross. Our spirituality has strengthened our love. The heart being over here, right? Our spirituality has strengthened our love. And has been a beautiful gift. With the garden, the flowers beneath, right? And may also make us more attractive to get more invitations from people around us. Yes? And that's moving us over to the future, which is what? The future gives us the coffin, the sun, and the heart, and then the clover. So yes, endings. Some things have ended, right? Maybe the burden has ended, which gives us the happiness, the joy of the sun. And remember, the sun beneath the coffin softens and lightens and brightens and positivizes. I'm making up that word just for you. Positivizes, makes positive the coffin above it and the heart below it. Yes, the heart below it. So that ending has given us happiness and success and love and joy and the ability to love what we're doing, which leads us to more instances of synchronicity and good luck and good fortune. And all of this is centered around that child card, right? The significance. How can we live our lives more intentionally in the coming week? The way to live our lives more intentionally in the coming week is to approach every moment as a new creation. A new thing that will grow and will expand. And to be grateful for that. That is what living an intentional life is. The ability to appreciate every moment as a new creation for our benefit is an intentional life. And sometimes we fall off the horse. Sometimes we slip out of the canoe into the water and we sink, but we can rise up again and get back on that canoe and start moving with the powerful current of our individual intentions, with the collective flow of communal intention of the humans around us, the humans on the planet, and the universe as a whole. We have the power to open ourselves, and we have the strength, the renewed strength that has come from our growth and our learning and our understanding has grown, and we're able to now appreciate every moment if we allow ourselves to, and give thanks for every moment if we allow ourselves to. And that's all I think we're asking ourselves to do, is to allow ourselves to experience the newness of every moment. And allow ourselves to, from time to time, hunker down and protect ourselves and take a moment to recollect ourselves and then realize, no, I want to open to the power of the moment as a child. And wow, I've come up with so many potential titles for this video and this, as I've recorded. The power of the moment as a child, maybe not. I like the other two a little bit better. Which do you think would have been the best title? The one I chose or one of the other ones? Or do you have a new title that you'd like to give this video? Let me know in the comments below. Love to hear from you. So that's what I feel though, friends. We have the power. Well, I got the power, right? We have the power, the strength to open ourselves to appreciating every moment as new. And that's how we're going to live our lives more intentionally in this coming week. And allow ourselves to get that perspective, but then come back to interacting. Yes? So friends, in just a moment, the QR code for my online tarot shop will be right before your very eyes. You can either scan that code or you can type in the address, which will be below it, derekjohnthomas.com. Go see what spreads I have off on offer. If you want a Lenormand reading, just indicate that in the When you place your order, you have the opportunity to send a message with your order. And if you say, I'd like a Lenormand reading with this, do that and we will do that for you. Okay, friends? So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And now, as always, as the inner child in me greets the inner child in you, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.